Hello, everybody. This is insanely big news. President Trump and Kash Patel, not Pam Bondi, are carrying out massive firings in the FBI right now. The CIA, for big corruption tied to previous cases used in lawfare against Trump. Hundreds of people have been fired, and now we're hearing reports that, hear this, Pam Bondi is next. We're hearing reports that President Trump is unhappy with Attorney General Pam Bondi's performance, who he views as, and I quote from Trump, weak and an ineffective enforcer of his agenda. This is again Trump speaking that he is unhappy with Attorney General Pam Bondi's performance and views her as weak and ineffective enforcer of his agenda. Trump is said to be furious that no high official has been put in jail or arraigned, and Pam Bondi has got to go. This is breaking news, everybody, because again, too, it doesn't stop here. This morning, bombshell, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has said that he is moving forward to hold Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress after they refused and did not show up to the depositions within Congress after they were subpoenaed. The Clintons have refused to work with Congress in any way, and James Comer, House Oversight Chairman, said we will hold them in contempt. Nobody is above the law, not even previous presidents like Bill Clinton. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is big. We also have it where I'm telling you, everybody, I feel like I just bombshell every day. House Republican leadership is attempting to funnel a third of $1 billion of your tax dollars to the National Endowment for Democracy. This is a left-wing propaganda outfit. This National Endowment for Democracy is a deep state slush fund that was exposed by Doge. They spent billions of dollars on overseas regime changes, color revolutions, woke activists to topple governments. There are 9 Republicans who are in charge of pushing forward this money of $315 million. These are all Republicans that approve this. And yes, I have the list to show you, everybody, that who you see is on this list. You're going to get really fed up. You're going to get upset because they approve this. 9 Republicans were in charge of this money. They're in charge of a lot more money, totaling up to $1.2 billion of your tax dollars being wasted. And it was approved by 9 Republicans. We have the names. We're going to show you in a moment. 2 of the names you're not going to believe, but they're in the committee. They approved it. They were a yay on this vote of sending $1.2 billion to woke, to overseas spending, a deep state slush fund for Democrats. We also have it where, again, the fraud is so rampant. Our elections have been stolen so much. New evidence have shown that nearly 1/3 of Oregon voters found ineligible to vote in Oregon. 800,000 of the 300 million voters in Oregon are ineligible to vote. These are doing with mail-in ballots. This has to do with election day voting. There is no verification. There's no any type of ID checks, but 800,000 voters in Oregon have been found to be ineligible. Imagine what's in California, New York, all these other blue states. Again, the bombshell news is that every single day we're exposing how much our country has been stolen from us. Tax dollars have been stolen from us. We have all the receipts for you today. We have the list of names. And again, it goes back to accountability. This is some of the biggest stuff ever, guys. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been fired in the past 24 hours by Kash Patel, not Pam Bondi, because Trump has said that Pam Bondi is a weak and ineffective enforcer of rooting out the deep state, and that's why he's using Kash Patel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's going to be a big day today, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button. We're going to take care of you every day with the breaking news. And want to say, if you don't mind doing us a huge, massive favor, this really helps out so much, everybody. So when you hit that thumbs up like button, everything that we show you today, more people get to see. More people get to see the receipts, the truth, things you don't see on mainstream media. We are exposing it all, and we thank you to everybody who hits that like button, who shares our videos on X, on Facebook, and who helps us to grow our voice. I want to give some special love to those that have given, show all those that have supported our channel through the giving, being a member of the channel. When you donate on this channel, we take that money, we partner with you, and we donate live on stream on the 22nd of every month to a local charity. This helps us grow. Again, we're growing our voice, we're growing our giving, all because of you, and we do it live on stream, transparency. And don't forget, everybody, this is big. You can actually do this right now. You have the opportunity to. If you have any questions, you can get help with your Medicare coverage right now. We partnered with this company, Chapter, where they will provide to you and help you find the right Medicare coverage plan right now. I know some of you may have missed the open enrollment in the past couple of months. Don't miss your chance now. You can call them up, 667-895-3015. They're going to help you find the right Medicare coverage plan. You're going to get blessed because hundreds and hundreds of people on this channel have saved thousands upon thousands of dollars a year in health insurance and on their Medicare, and some have even gotten over $1,000 in additional blessings of thousands of dollars of stipends for gas, electricity. Go get your blessing. Don't miss out. Again, the number is 667-895-3015. The number's in the description as well as at the bottom of the screen. And again, what you're about to see is accountability. House Oversight Chairman James Comer is moving to hold Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress. They refused to show up for the depositions after they were subpoenaed. He says they will be proceeding forward to hold them in contempt with possible jail time. This is what we voted for, everybody. Listen to this.
I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president. And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today. Not a single Democrat. The ones that have press conferences on the Capitol steps and talk about how they're trying to get justice for the victims and all that. It just seems like they only care about questioning Republicans. And we've had a former Trump cabinet secretary, Acosta, in for a grilling. We had Bill Barr, former attorney general, in for a grilling. But for whatever reason, President Clinton didn't show up, and the Democrats on the committee don't seem to have a problem. This is the amount of preparation that went into this deposition today. These were the questions that we were prepared to ask. We've communicated with President Clinton's legal team for months now, giving them opportunity after opportunity to come in, to give us a date, and they continue to delay to the point where we had no idea whether they're going to show up today or not. I think it's very disappointing. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on it unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
Boom, baby. Mic drop right there. Hold President Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress. Will not work with Congress. If you didn't have nothing to hide, why didn't you show up? And again, everybody, Trump is using multiple different people because of this right here. We have this bombshell news that has come out that President Trump is unhappy with Attorney General Pam Bondi's performance. He views her as, and this is his words, weak and an ineffective enforcer of his agenda. Everybody that is screwed over Trump, he needs somebody to have his back. And right now, Pam Bondi has not arraigned anybody. Nobody's been put in jail when we know they used lawfare against President Trump, and now he's replacing her. This is massive. The people that we're going to show you in a moment that are the top names to replace Pam Bondi, again, there's one is a rhino, the other I would be much in favor of, but this is where Trump is fed up. We have Bill and Hillary Clinton who have just refused to testify in the House against Jeffrey Epstein. You heard James Comer. They're going to hold him in contempt of Congress. What does that spell? Guys, that's jail time, okay? That is jail time. They did it to Navarro. They did it to Steve Bannon. And everybody wants to see accountability. There's a lot of victims, over 1,200 victims when it comes to the Epstein files. Trump wants justice. He wants people to see that nobody's above the law. We also have it where Trump posted this, that he and Kash Patel went through and fired corrupt FBI agents, hundreds and hundreds of them, that weaponized the lawfare against Trump. The payoffs that we're about to show you happening with Jack Smith, tens of thousands of dollars to people to come and lie and try to get Trump in jail. We have the evidence for everybody. And actually, Kash Patel is the only one that's actually making something happen. This is why, again, too, everything that we're showing you, if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, the corruption is real. All the stuff that we're showing you, it comes from the top. Everything having to do with Jim Jordan, House Chairman, you have James Comer. They're having to do the bulk of it. Kash Patel having to do the bulk of it because, again, Pam Bondi, we haven't seen anything coming from her specifically. And again, Trump has called her weak and an ineffective enforcer of his agenda. And what you're about to see next, guys, this is, again, when we have the evidence that Jack Smith, former special counsels, used $20,000 payoffs to try to put Trump in jail, it's over. Listen to this.
Answer for, because over the weekend, the FBI director, Kash Patel, announced that Smith's team paid an informant $20,000 to target President Trump and his allies in the Arctic frost phony investigation. Anyway, here now with more House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. Oh, let's see. For some people, $20,000 to say something that you want them to say, I would say that's called an incentive. Is that very common?
Well, I don't know how much Jack Smith did here. That's one of the questions we have. Were there multiple payments? Who else was he paying? I think the big question, frankly, is why? Jack Smith could subpoena anybody and everybody he wanted. In fact, he went out and got phone records for dozens of members of Congress, for goodness sake. So why is he taking hard-earned American tax dollars to pay this guy? But here's the thing I find sort of ironic.
That, and if you didn't catch that, everybody, that's the worst part about this. He used taxpayer dollars to pay somebody to target Trump, spill out lies to try to get him to be put in jail. This is the part that gets me the most, everybody. Because it's one thing, and if Trump broke the law, if he did it in any way, he needs to be held accountable. Just know that I'll say that, okay? Whether you're red or blue, I want America first. The red, white, and blue, okay? But this right here, this crossed the line. He is now officially set to testify in Congress next week before the committees on this right here. They use taxpayer dollars, everybody, to pay off people to target Trump.
Is, remember, son, it's almost like we've come full circle. Because 10 years ago, Jim Comey was paying a foreigner Christopher Steele, who put together this garbage document called the dossier that started this whole decade of weaponization of the government against President Trump. And now we find out it looks like Jack Smith was doing something very similar. So we're going to have questions about Mr. Smith when we bring him in next Thursday, like we always plan to do. We're going to bring him in next Thursday for a hearing at 10 a.m., public hearing, where we'll be able to ask him about this issue and a host of others.
What recourse do congressmen and senators like yourself, my understanding is they got your phone records too, do you have? Is that an invasion of privacy?
Well, certainly, because they know who you called, who called you, when the call happened, how long it lasted, and if you initiated it, they know where you were at when you did so. You can pattern someone's life. And here's the kicker for me. 17 days after Speaker McCarthy becomes Speaker of the House, Jack Smith subpoenaed his phone records from 2 years prior for a 2-month time frame. And again, he knows everything. You can pattern what the speaker was up to. You know who he's talking to before big votes, after big votes. You can pattern someone's life. And then Jack Smith goes to the court and says, don't let Verizon, don't let AT&T, let them tell the second ranking guy to the president, second in line to the president, the highest Republican in government. Don't let him know that you did this, that we got his information, for goodness sake. And they put on this subpoena, they said he's a flight risk. He might tamper with witnesses. He might tamper with them.
Oh, yeah, that's a real flight risk.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me. So that's what Jack Smith did. And now we learn he's using American tax dollars to pay confidential human sources, when I'm sure we'll get into in next week's hearing.
All right, he's a career prosecutor and attorney.
Every single bit of this, everybody, that's coming out right now, just know that we're investigating this through and through. We have so much movement right now. We have where Representative Nancy Mace is calling to deport Somali national Elon Omar. Why? We've got momentum. We now have it where we just fired the person who would not prosecute James Comey. The Trump DOJ has fired the Virginia prosecutor who refused to lead the prosecution of disgraced former FBI Director James Comey. They've been purged. Trump is going through with everything that has happened. We're holding Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton is tomorrow, but they're saying she's not going to show up. Bill Clinton is going to be held in contempt of Congress next week. And it's all happening with the leadership of this man right here, who is firing people left and right. Anybody that is refusing to do justice with the evidence that we have of all the people that committed lawfare against Trump, against the American people, you just heard Jim Jordan say, Jack Smith used tax dollars to pay somebody to target Trump, okay? This is where, when we expose all of this, all these receipts, everybody, this is what matters the most. And everything that we're about to show you, because we've got a lot of fraud to expose today, Jack Smith is set to testify next week at a public House Judiciary Committee hearing. It will be videoed. We will show you the videos because we are going to put everybody that's used lawfare, not just against Republicans, but because trust me, we've got rhinos to expose in just a moment. We're going to put all these people on blast. No more stealing from Americans. No more corruption. We are going to expose the deep state.
He's slick. You've spent time with him now.
Well, he knows his subject matter. He's worked in all kinds of different things. He was involved in trying to go after Republicans 10 years ago. He's done a lot of things. He's been in the Justice Department. He worked over at the World Court. So, he'll be a tough witness, but we're going to present the facts. And I think, frankly, we're going to show that Jack Smith was part of this bigger effort. First it was the dossier, then it was Mueller, then it was impeachment 1, then it was impeachment 2.
Goodness, if this every single whistleblower that's coming out, Wall's admin actually ordered fraud unit to stand down early in his term. Whistleblower says, if we aren't getting the breaking news moment by moment, things that are coming out, things that are being shared, there's so much breaking news out there. I'm just trying to gather it all in together, everybody. But time and time again, this stuff keeps getting exposed. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, Show our boy Mr. Tracy J. Norby some love in the chat, everybody, for his super chats that we the people are tired of getting it up the rear. 100%. Show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. Martin Gonzalez, thank you so much for your support. Christina Smith, thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. Show Christina some love in the chat. Lady T. Rucker, thank you so much for your support. Said, when will Americans finally stand up against the rhino Republicans and demonic Democrats? Bondi must go. She is a huge rhino. Stop paying your taxes. Enough is enough. Show Lady T. Rucker some love in the chat. Our girl April Green, thank you so much. OG of the family. Patricia Rad TKE, welcome to the family. And Bobby Williams, welcome to the family. So what we have for you next, everybody, is we have some polling from Rasmussen that right now Trump is, they say, acting like a dictator in a sense with all his executive orders and actions. Well, guess what? His polling is better. Every time Trump goes on the offensive, pushes forward with executive orders, and has his cabinet team carry out things that need to get done, his polling numbers go up. This just shows you, everybody, people are sick of Congress and they want to see change, just like what you're about to hear now. Listen.
What does your analytics tell you about what you're polling right now, about where the American people are on a range of topics, sir?
Well, I want to acknowledge, because a lot of people call me a black pillar. And first I would say I don't black pill. I give you the data. Everything that I say is backed up with data, and I draw my conclusions, but I challenge you to make your own. And if Trump's doing well, I'll say he's doing well. If he's doing poorly, I'll say...
Hold it. Hang on. Who accused you of being a black pillar? I think you come forward.
Well, I don't know. There's a big war on...
drive what you think.
I don't want to call out names there, but I mean, everybody on Twitter calls me that. And now there's a war on MAGA black pillars, when in reality, it's like, okay, I got to the White House to help give the administration advice, and it looks like they're taking some of that. You know, I'll tell you, for November and December, it really felt like the wheels were falling off, and Donald Trump's net approval got down to -12. It's still, I think, -9 or -8 today, but what is changing is the last couple of days have been absolutely incredible. We've finally seen, in my opinion, a lot of aggressive actions, which is what Americans want out of Donald Trump. They want the system fixed. And so if he can make sure, if he's managing this circus, right, and he has one big main ring and there's a couple of side rings, I would almost say that he could get away with whatever he wants in those side rings, as long as the main ring is the core fundamental root cause problems that Americans have right now. And what are those root cause problems? It's decades of corporatism and uniparty kleptocracy and corporate welfare have hollowed out the middle class, and we need the American dream back. And that's going to be a long road to hoe. It's going to be a journey. America needs a golden path, not a golden age now. And I think we're starting to see that, and I think we're starting to see aggressive actions. I would love some more intent, a little bit more strategy and plan behind it. But the fact that they're going after these housing investors, pretty big deal. The fact that Scott Bessent's coming out with like some pretty creative ways to shut down on like remittances and stuff like that. We're starting to see some good stuff there. And the other one is brutal government reform, which I would kind of give Trump sort of like a D- or F+ at, because we just haven't seen it. And the numbers are getting worse. Donald Trump was elected because people trusted him more than the federal government. And if he's not attacking the federal government, unfortunately, he's wrong. And so all of a sudden, we see Right Direction has reclaimed low 40s. It's a solid 42% today, I think. And so that's good, because we lost the 40% number. And so I think America is fundamentally behind Trump, and the polling says it. We had a poll from a week or two ago.
So I want to show you this, because this is very important, everybody. This right here is all about, it's Trump. It's not Trump and the GOP and the Congress. It's Trump and his cabinet team versus Congress and the rhinos, okay? I bring the receipts. Congress has overruled Trump as a $315 million flow back to a woke agency. There is the Republican committee that was over this, approved of $315 million flowing to the National Endowment for Democracy, okay? This is a partisan, they have partisan abuse, including grants tied to doxing conservative journalists, blacklisting right-leaning media, exporting DEI and transgender ideology abroad. $315 million of your tax dollars was approved to that. I want to show you the names, okay? The people that are in charge of this are all Republicans. These are the Republican members of the House Rules Committee who hold the power right now and approve this. Chairman Virginia Foxx, Michael Fishbach, Ralph Norman, Chip Roy, Aaron Huchin, Nicholas Langworthy, Austin Scott, H. Morgan Griffith, and Brian Jack. These people have the authority to go in and undo this, but they allow this to go through, and people are upset. Everybody is like, what the heck? This is Republicans. Why would you give this much money to left-wing propaganda? Again, this is $315 million. It doesn't stop there, everybody. I'm going to show you some more stuff in a moment. It adds up to $1.2 billion that is going to left-wing slush funds. And again, these are the names: Fox, Fishbach, Norman, Chip Roy, Aaron Huchin, Nicholas Langworthy, Austin Scott, Morgan Griffith, Brian Jack. These might be your representatives. I don't know. But this is holding them accountable that these 7 Republicans can force the floor vote to remove this, and yet they haven't. They allowed this to pass through. This is where, again, when we show you this stuff, it's not just about Trump versus it's Trump and Trump is in charge of Congress. No, Trump is literally fighting Congress to stop the wasteful spending, and it's his cabinet team, Bessent, Kash Patel, all these others that are the ones that are helping him to actually root out the deep state, not Congress.
And we asked America, has Trump delivered not enough or too much of what he promised? Only 21% of America says too much. 38% say not enough. And especially the younger voters, half of them say not enough. And so what people want is kind of the stuff I think we're seeing out of Trump now. His numbers are getting better when he acts like a dictator. And that was kind of like what happened in February and March as well. And so you look at these ICE protesters, you look at this ridiculous level of fraud. People hate this. The Minnesota fraud, I mean, the numbers of fraud just keep getting higher and higher. We're up to 75% of Americans right now. They're angry at the level of waste, fraud, and abuse in America. That's even higher than it was when Doge was threatening to audit the Department of Defense and shut down the Fed. And then do you agree or disagree with this statement? The fraud reported in Minnesota so far is just the tip of a very large iceberg of fraud involving federally funded programs nationwide. 61% to 26, huge numbers. America's obviously these people are stealing generational wealth from us.
Continue on, sir.
Well, I was roasting Minnesota fraud, and I think this is the biggest opportunity that Trump has been given this year. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it looks like Republicans just don't have a stiff enough upper lip to actually govern this country. Maybe we'll get some good stuff in the reconciliation bills. I don't know. They seem even incapable of talking about what their plans are for this year, and that's horrifying. Democrats are up 4. I mean, I guess it could be worse, but Trump captured the zeitgeist of the youth. He was the most popular. His job approval rating was the highest when he was taking a chainsaw to the federal government. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, it would appear that Republicans sent Doge packing out of D.C. on a rail. Well, here we are again. America is being reminded that probably 10% of our annual federal expenditure is waste, fraud, and abuse in a very, very visible, egregious way where Americans, I think, are demanding aggressive action. And every one of the aggressive things that Trump has done that the press has, clutched their pearls and clucked their tongues about is actually more popular than Trump is. Arresting people for the auto pen, more popular than Trump is. Arresting people for, blowing up narco boats, that was more popular than Trump is. Literally everything, including even nabbing Maduro, is more popular than Trump is. 51% approved.
So you see this, everybody? Trump's actions are what people want. This was a chart that was posted by Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Thank God he's on our side. 232 million followers on X. This is what happened, and this is what we're exposing. This is a clear chart, everybody, of the fraud, the waste, the abuse, the stealing. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, because I want to bring you visuals. Visuals matter. Mail-in ballots plus no photo ID results in them winning elections, because what do? They expand welfare to illegal migrants. States that offer Medicaid over here on the right are the ones in the green, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 states offer Medicaid to undocumented migrants no matter what, okay? These are all blue states, and these are the largest states in the United States when it comes to electoral votes. New York, you got California. The illegal migrants flood in. You see under Kamala, under Kamala and Joe Biden, look at the purple, okay, at the bottom. And then they go back into those same states, and there's no verification whatsoever. This is how they win. This is how they stay in power, with corruption, okay? You want to see some more receipts? I'm about to blow your dang mind, everybody, okay? Because this is the only reason we know this is because of Trump. In one of the states, we found that nearly 1/3 of the Oregon voters in Oregon are found ineligible to vote. This is corruption at the highest level. Oregon identified 800,000 ineligible registrations, 27% of its 3 million voters. Ballots can be returned by mail with postmarks accepted through Election Day and counted up to 7 days later, deposited in drop-in boxes. There is no in-person verification at return. Okay? So when I show you there is a circle of fraud that's happening, it's happening here, it's happening in all the blue states. This is real, everybody, and this is why we're trying to make sure that as many people see these videos as possible, because they don't realize how bad it is. We just had a new reconciliation bill filed by the House Republicans. This just happened moments ago. They're looking to pass this in the next week. It ensures that only citizens count for purposes of allocating funding to states, okay? That means California loses hundreds of billions of dollars. New York, hundreds of billions of dollars. Because right now, you have millions upon millions of illegals that have been counted in the census that have been, and that's how they were used to determine how much federal funding they received, okay? In this new reconciliation bill, only citizens count for purposes of allocating funds to states. They say by doing this, we are going to save almost $200 billion going from, that reduces the amount going from blue states, because these blue states have all the illegals. They're all the sanctuary cities. Do y'all realize how big this is, guys? Massive. Cracks down on the rampant fraud, codifies Trump's executive orders, and contains affordable measures and spending cuts. This bans illegals from obtaining a dime of taxpayer welfare. This is massive. We're going to bring you the numbers once I get them in just a moment. But this is huge, everybody. This is what we voted for, because there's so much fraud, whether it's healthcare, housing, internet, just across the board, SNAP. This is why we try to bring as much value and receipts to you as possible. All this stuff is happening, breaking news. Hasn't even hit mainstream media, but we've got you taken care of. This is why, again, we try to bring as much value to you. I want to turn real quick over because, again, when there is the opportunity right now, it is open. If you may have missed your chance in the open enrollment when it came to your Medicare coverage, you can do this right now. You're allowed to. Call Chapter Up. They can help you find the right Medicare coverage. Their number is 667-895-3015. They have saved people thousands upon thousands of dollars with being able to find the right plan. There is 5,600 plans out there, everybody. How do you know which one to choose? They do this for free. And trust me, I would not be bringing this to you if it didn't bring value to you. We're here to serve you. And we got with them because they bring value to you. Their number is, again, 667-895-3015. Don't miss out on your blessing. There's too many people that have been blessed, saved so much money on this channel, and I want to see you be blessed as well. Because everything that is coming, guys, with all this that we're fighting against this fraud, waste, and abuse, I showed you these are the names of the people that are allowing hundreds of millions to billions of dollars go to left-wing propaganda. You need to save as much money. Don't pay more into these health cares, because remember, these healthcare companies get money from the federal government, all this stuff. Keep more of your hard-earned money. I want to give some special love to show Skyrix Core some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much that every single sanctuary city leader and protester interfering with ICE are guilty of violating 8 USC 1324 and 10 USC 253, time for prison. Show some love in the chat. Hammer of Justice, thank you so much for your support. TJ Letsum, thank you so much. I love it. Show TJ Ledsom some love in the chat, member of the family. Our boy Richard with the gifted membership. Show Richard some love in the chat. Jess, thank you so much, Jess. HN2ZN, some love in the chat. Catherine Rex, Alice Lewis, PDX67. Show our boy Richard, OG of the family, some love in the chat, as well as our boy Mr. Norby. Guys, it's only getting better for us because more people are seeing the news that we're showing you. This is the stuff you don't see on mainstream media, but this is the truth. This is the receipts, and it gets even better. Listen to this.
Of U.S. military action to capture Maduro, only, 41% disapproved, only 28% strongly disapproved. And so here's where I think it matters. Like, this is not the same America 10 years ago that kind of cared about the Constitution and all the finer details about entitlement reform and red versus blue policy. No, again, these people think the system has failed. They want a brutal return to order, and they want people held accountable. And so what Trump could do between now and November is just like surge these cities with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, forget just ICE. People protest ICE. Are people going to protest the United States Marine Corps? Let's, use the Insurrection Act. Or what about all of those 80,000 armed IRS troops that we never fired? Like, let's get some people up there. Let's do it in California. Let's do it in New York. Let's do it in New Jersey. And
Now,
make
what
it lay bare.
Okay. Hang on a second. David Hoke tells me they're working on a huge, and it's getting edited right now by the great young videographer, and it may be out tomorrow. But he's telling me that in Minnesota, but they've only scratched the surface. They're about to come out with, systemic fraud of a scale that you can't believe. Is that just going to throw more gasoline on this fire for that President Trump will have support to go in with a meat axe and do this, and also to not just federalize the National Guard, but maybe even send the Army in if you have to have because I keep saying they're fighting. These fights are all about mass deportations.
Do y'all hear this, guys? It's so massive. Like, we haven't even released in the next coming weeks, because I've been hearing this too. We went ahead and said it, but we are seeing there is massive Democratic NGO systemic fraud where, without a shadow of a doubt, Congress will have no doubt, will have to allow Trump to go in, even militarily, and clean house, clean the deep state. If you want this, guys, this is what I love. We got to get this news out there. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this really does help these videos to get seen. People need to see this news.
Mass deportations have to come. They have to come. Do you think the American people, as you read the data, will they have his back in this, particularly as they see that the Somalian thing is 10 times bigger than people think it is today, and it is throughout the country, and not just with the Somalians, but the entire business model of the radical Democrats, the Marxist jihadists, is based upon having the federal government taxpayers actually pay for this?
What has been dangerous for Trump's numbers is counter-signaling his movement and not understanding why he got elected, getting involved in doing things for other people and not the American people, and not doing enough of what he promised. And so all of these things that he's done already that our polling has said were popular, like, for instance, sending the National Guard to cities, that was really popular. In fact, more popular than Trump was. None of this stuff has hurt his numbers at all. And so I think where we're at is that I think people are voting and supporting politicians basically because of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think they're worried about food, sustenance, shelter. We're not talking about self-actualization right now. And Americans fundamentally care most about fairness. And we've measured that so many different ways. Like 90% think it's important to prevent cheating in elections. 95% think it's important we don't have a two-tiered system of justice. And so if your core principle is fairness, accountability, reform, and a return to order, be smart about it, obviously. And people don't like the masks, and people don't like the theatrics out of ICE, obviously. Some of that stuff has gone a little bit too far, but it's like, why aren't we beating up the businesses? People would be there for that. They don't want to hear about business stability. They're beyond that. They can't afford a future in America, and all of the economic metrics continue to say that. So yeah, it's like, okay, if people are protesting ICE, again, I don't think they're going to be protesting the FBI as much. They're probably not going to be protesting the troops that we would surge, but we got to understand where we're at. Only 30% trusted the federal government. before the election. Now everybody looks at the government and basically assumes it's been validated multiple times now that there is just a generational level of fraud and abuse. Over 70% of Americans assume that most elected representatives are profiting ill-gotten gains from their positions, abusing power. They're angry at the level of waste, fraud, and abuse. Overwhelmingly, people wanted the swamp drain, like 69%. They want audits of the major programs. And we got rid of Doge. And Doge could have ushered in a new generation of youth voting for Republicans. And Republicans really didn't kind of care about that. But again, now Trump, in my opinion, like, remember, we had almost 60% of America agreeing with Trump that he who saves his country violates no laws. And so I think that this is the opportunity of a lifetime for Trump and Republicans. It's like basically go after this criminal cartel of Democrats.
Yes.
And if you like, I haven't asked these questions. I'm sure it would be overwhelmingly popular. Let's get RICO cases. Let's like roll up Antifa. Like why? Like finally we're hearing about investigations into George Soros, but people think this country was stolen. They want it
Republican.
back.
Okay. Republican.
This is, again, everybody, the Democratic fraud is as high and as crazy as you could ever imagine, okay? I want to show you this because these are people this is a person who is now the chairman over the Doge subcommittee. This is a guy who is going to be in charge of investigating the fraud, the waste, the abuse. Listen to his take because, again, there was money being spent while you were sleeping. There's things being voted on that is going to just Democratic slush funds, wasteful spending. Listen to this. And this is what I love. Because you won't see this on mainstream.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett just leaving the House floor. We had 3 bills tonight. And guess what? I voted against every dadgum one of them. The only bigger travesty, I think, in this country is that Johnny Paycheck is not in the dadgum Country Music Hall of Fame. How does that happen? Google the guy. He's got huge, huge following. Anyway, don't get me started. 3 bills. Remote Access Security Act is by Lawler. It outlaws something that's already outlawed, but it brings in about 8 people. We think at $250,000 a pop. I don't know. It goes anyway. A few $1 million into it with everything. And so I just we got to quit spending that gum money, folks. Voted against it. Another bill is dealt with Africa. Let's see. It was the imports. Let's see. It removed. I'm sorry, I'm losing my place here. Extends duty-free treatment with respect to African nations. That was $1 billion price tag.
$1 billion.
See you, Luna. The other one was Haiti economic lift. Look, Haiti's a nightmare. Clinton's, everybody's down there, Bush. I don't know, you can't get a real story about what the heck happened down there, all those millions upon millions that were stolen down there, and it's a pig in a dadgum poke. So I voted against all of them. Some of them, my staff who does research on some of these things, they recommend that I do vote for them, but then on the floor I found some little nuances to it that I wasn't sure about, so I voted against all of them tonight. Thank y'all for sending me here.
I'm telling you, everybody, do you hear this stuff? They're like, why are we still sending money? We're sending money to Africa. We're sending money to Haiti. Stuff, $315 million flowing back to woke agencies after Doge cuts last year. Guess what? In this new reconciliation bill, Congress overruling Trump and Doge and putting it back in there. Guys, this is the deep state swamp we're trying to get rid of. This is what we're trying to get past. But just think about it. Within less than 12 months, you already have rhino Republicans, rhino Democrats that are continuing, that can force votes. These people, I showed you the name, they can force the votes. They can prevent this from happening. Virginia Fox, Michael Fishbach, Ralph Norman, Chip Roy, Aaron Huchin, Nicholas Langworthy, Austin Scott, Morgan Griffith, Brian Jack, they can do what needs to be done to stop a lot of this stuff. But they're not. And this is the part where you and I, we have to look and say, we're glad that some of these people are leaving Congress, but we need true MAGA, America First, stop wasting our money, congressional leaders in place. I'm about to show you, this is one of the leaders, but he's in the Senate. But we need somebody like this who's in leadership who will call it out and fight against all this corruptness.
We need to do another reconciliation bill. To fix the welfare system and stop the stealing. Stop the stealing. And we can do it with all Republican votes. So please, Senator Thune, pretty please, as I've said before, I'm shameless, I'll beg. I'll get down on my knees. John, please bring another reconciliation bill. We can do so much, but we can start with fixing welfare fraud. Please, John, please let us do the bill. I don't want to end on a negative note. I might have hurt my back going down, Mr. President. I don't want to end on a negative note. I love this country. I just think America's the greatest country in all of human history. I do. And the whole world knows it. Everybody wants to come here. When's the last time you heard of somebody trying to sneak into China? No, they want to come to America. And I believe, as much as I'm standing here, that the future of this country can be better than the present or our past. It can be. I've always believed that we're only as good as our dreams, Mr. President. And we're only as valuable as our children. But I'm not going to bubble wrap it. We got $30+ trillion worth of debt. And we got people stealing from poor people.
Left and right.
And laughing about it. And politicians participating in it. And the water's not, and Washington's got to do its role, its part to fix this. But the water's not going to clear up for America. The water's not going to clear up for America until we get the pigs out of the creek. Let's go get the pigs out of the creek. Please, Senator Thune, please let us do another reconciliation bill. Please lead with welfare reform. We can do it. You can do it. I know you can.
Ava Bernard, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. OG of the family. Show Ava some love in the chat, everybody. Guys, this is why people are fed up. This is why we are hearing behind the scenes that Attorney General Pam Bondi's out the door. Kash Patel and Trump went through and fired hundreds and hundreds of people in the FBI, the CIA, because they were tied to lawfare against Trump, against conservatives, against conservative speakers, conservative influencers. They've all been fired, hundreds and hundreds of people. But Trump this is the reporting, is unhappy with AG Pam Bondi's performance. He views her as, and I quote, weak and an ineffective enforcer of his agenda. Nobody's been arraigned. Nobody's been put in jail. And we're constantly seeing that through all of this, it's Congress or it's Trump's cabinet team that are actually going after these top officials. Today, Bill Clinton refused to show up for a deposition by subpoena to the House Oversight Committee. He is now going to be held in contempt of Congress. They say jail time. High likelihood, just like how Bannon and Steve Navarro did, okay? But it's because of this guy on the screen right here, Patel, that they fired corrupt FBI agents, and hundreds of them have happened. This is Trump's guy. I would love to see this guy as the Attorney General. Because again, too, if we can't go after these top people, what I'm about to show you next, it will never end. This is the type of stuff that, again, as we show you, people are doing Guys, there's literally, I've got a video. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and show you it. There's this video of a former MLB pitcher, John Rocker, visiting a taxpayer-funded daycare in Columbus, Ohio, named Mandandik Child Care Learning Center. This place is open. There are no kids. The only person there is an angry migrant that's screaming at him. I can't play the video because there's big cussing. He's going in, hey, we'd like to talk to you about putting our kids in there. And she's yelling at him, no, go away. Comes out. This is who she is over here on the right. and says, no, we're not talking to you. Get away from us. There's no kids. Can't talk to nobody. Can't ask anybody for any help when it comes to anything like this. They're digging in deeper than we've ever seen them dig in before. And this is why, again, what you're about to see next, it's over for a lot of these Democrats, but we have to have the right attorney general to put their butts in jail.
So the fraud faucet keeps on dripping, and we're not talking daycares anymore.
When a Somali goes to the doctor, magically, they forgot how to speak English, so they need an interpreter there. So the county brings in an interpreter at $100 an hour, minimum 8 hours, to interpret what the doctor is telling the patient. And then remember, the interpreter has to get to the doctor's office or the hospital. How are they getting there? The transportation company, and then they got to get back home. And that patient had to get to the doctor's office. How? Transportation.
Oh, so how much are we paying the interpreters and their drivers?
Almost 900 of them are Somali-owned. So in the second video, Nick Shirley and I went to 16 of them. I've actually been to about 70 of them. They don't exist.
So transportation companies that transport no one. Sounds like something we should be looking into. But Democrats say no need. That would be a waste of money.
I'm so exhausted in trying to ask what any of this, information has led to you finding any criminals that you have indicted that explains why you are wasting so much of our taxpayer resources.
Oh, now you're talking about taxpayer resources.
Omar thinks it's a waste of money to catch Somalis stealing money. You know what else is a waste of money? Daycares with no kids. Democrats let Somali pirates steal billions, and now they care about taxpayer money. Whistleblowers say they warned Walz about the fraud, and he ignored it. And now the hunt's on, and the bloodhound is barking.
Tim Walz is a coward. He is a coward.
Ooh.
He would not guarantee that the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America would have police protection in the Minnesota state capitol. He is afraid of what is coming. And he's not going to be able to hide behind this curtain because we will get there.
But this is bigger than Walz. He didn't rise on his own. Democrats powered the machine, pushed him forward, and he came within inches of putting him on the throne. But the curtain's moving, and Timmy's center stage in his underwear. His worst nightmare. And Mayor Small Fry can't look away.
Obviously, everybody could have done more to prevent fraud. And I think that's a fair point to make. Do more to prevent fraud, and you look what he's doing right now. He's setting up a whole bunch of infrastructure to do that. And by the way, look, the fraud's real. We've all got to acknowledge it. The fraud is...
And I want to show you this, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is where the receipts are at. Minnesota recognized 1,020 medical transportation companies, okay? I'm not talking about vehicles, okay? These are companies with almost 900 Somali owned, okay? That's the majority. 90% of Minnesota's transportation companies are Somali owned, okay? Dave visited 70, the guy who's investigating this, 70 of these medical transportation companies. These companies are located and operating out of apartments, liquor stores, wire transfer shops, grocery stores, no vehicles. So we have Somali-owned medical transportation companies receiving millions of dollars operating out of liquor stores, okay? But there's no vehicles. This is how bad it is. These non-emergency transport companies, on average, have 20 vehicles they supposedly have under their company, getting paid $70,000 per vehicle annually. Do you realize that's $1.4 million? When you talk, this is just a small list, okay, of the receipts of what is being found out. And this is in one state from one group, okay? This is why people are fed up. This is why they can't deny it anymore. Look at this. Even on the fraud is real, 100%, people need to go to jail.
very real.
You don't have to tell Bessent twice. He's going to follow the money, like it's the Somali mob.
What we do is follow the money, just like we followed it with the mafia, just like we follow it with the drug cartels. And we will find out who's done this. You know, I announced today that we are going to put in effect a whistleblower program. And my sense is that the rats will turn on each other.
Manhattan Institute senior fellow Chris Rufo joins me now. Do you think the rats are going to turn on each other?
Yeah, I actually spent last week in Minneapolis, and there's two parallel stories. I mean, there is a panic within the Somali community. They've been found out for these massive fraud schemes, daycares, transportation, fake autism services, the whole 9 yards. But the political question is very important, and my sources in Minneapolis state government say that there are open inquiries into the potential involvement at the highest level of Minnesota politics. And so I think people will be taking a hard look not only at Governor Tim Walz, but also Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and State Attorney General Keith Ellison. We know that they have connections with convicted fraudsters. The question is, were they merely complicit in these schemes, or were they part of a broader conspiracy? We don't have strong evidence now, but I think people are starting to take a look.
Well, what we do know is that Ellison promised these guys he'd make the investigation go away, and then he got money as a donation. We know that whistleblowers alerted the Walz administration, and he didn't take any action.
And a lot of people, everybody, because J.D. Vance came out and said that he has spoken to tons of small business owners that are furious that they have to compete with their locations who pay, with other locations who pay illegals $6.50 an hour compared to them paying $20 an hour. This is the thing. He said many of the people threatening law enforcement and interfering with deportations are just mad that this system is coming to an end, okay? That is the next president of the United States, okay? This is the stuff we're uncovering. I'm sure, and again, it's not just one person saying it. It is across the board, from the Treasury Secretary to the FBI Director to Doge to the House Doge Committee. Everybody, tons of people in the Senate. There's so much momentum behind catching all this fraud, this waste and abuse. I wish this would have happened more last year. We would have uncovered this last year during Doge. But again, this is the thing where once you find it, and now that we have the momentum, like Trump is doing, you put in as many people as you can put behind the cause, because this might be your only chance. You do whatever you can to root it out while you can.
And we know a couple of these people, like Omar, got money from these convicted fraudsters as political donations. Are you saying that there could have been a conspiracy to move the welfare fraud money into their war chests?
It's certainly possible. And I think the person, and really I'm grateful for it, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has all the tools at his disposal to actually investigate the money trail, to figure out how the money flowed between these fake nonprofits and Somali fraudsters and Minnesota politicians. And I'll tell you, the atmosphere in Minneapolis was electric. I mean, people had the sense of anticipation. Something big is coming. And look, I hope they get to the bottom of it, because we're talking about, some estimates upward of $9 billion stolen. These politicians seem to, at a minimum, have turned a blind eye to the fraud, or even directed people below them to take steps so that it wasn't uncovered. This scandal is not over, and I think it could end with significant action. And again, I think Secretary Bessent is the right man for the job. And in my conversation with him over the weekend, he's very serious about it.
Oh, yeah. No one hates being hosed more than him. And Trump detests getting ripped off. Makes him crazy. So they're going to follow this all the way.
And again, guys, I'm showing you some breaking news. It makes me crazy when America gets ripped off, because I know that we have too many seniors that need help, that need support. But again, Trump is doing everything that he can across the board to put America first, to bring in more money, whether it's through Venezuela like crazy, the oil, the mineral and oil deposits in Greenland, because guess what? Legislation was just filed in the House authorizing President Trump to take over Greenland for America. Official news, Congressman Randy Fine said, "I am proud to introduce the Greenland Annexation and Statehood Act, a bill that allows the president to find the means necessary to bring Greenland to the Union." This is huge, everybody. I want to show you what's going on right now because Denmark has reached out to NATO and said, please don't let the United States take Greenland. Okay, there's about 30,000 people that live in Greenland, but right now we've taken the very first step because Trump said we have to have it. We are going to get it, whether they like it or not. He said because if we don't get it, Russia or China will, and they cannot be that close to us. It's too close. So again, this is insane, everybody, that we're living in history right now. You are seeing that official legislation has been pushed forward. This is coming from President Trump through a Representative Randy Fine to allow the Statehood Act of Greenland. Do you approve of this or not? Are you with this or not? This is insane, guys. I could never have imagined this. But again, we are cleaning up shop. Trump is going through. This guy is about to be held in contempt of Congress. Former President Bill Clinton, because he refused to show up for a deposition where he was subpoenaed to be at. And this is where people want to see justice. Him tied with the Epstein files. Again, the bigger news today is what's about to happen with Pam Bondi and everything that's going on with the FBI and the firings within the FBI. People are fed up. Trump's fed up. Trump literally called Pam Bondi's performance weak and ineffective, not being able to enforce his agenda. This is where, again, too, guys, we have shown you too many receipts today where the American people have been ripped off. Our elections have been stolen. Again, nearly 1/3 of Oregon voters found ineligible. 1/3, guys. Are you kidding me? This is enough to overturn every single election, okay, in Oregon. And this is just the first state that we've really gotten all the evidence for. So when we show you all this stuff that's coming out, there's another news story coming out. The Biden administration allegedly mispaid $84.6 million in Minnesota housing aid to 500 deceased recipients. All this stuff news that's dropping, people are ready. They're ready to see justice. They're ready to see America being put first. They're ready to see that people go to jail. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys. If you're watching, just know that we're going to show you things you don't normally see on mainstream media. We're going to show you the receipts. We're going to give you the list. We've already given a ton of lists today over names during the show. So if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Our job is to bring you as much value as possible. And don't forget that you do, right now, if you are on Medicare and you do have the opportunity right now to get your coverage changed, you can call this number. It's a free service to you. Chapter can help you find the right Medicare coverage. Be blessed. Save thousands and thousands of dollars, guys. This is the blessings I want you to have as a viewer of this channel. The number is 667-895-3015. The number's in the description. They've saved hundreds and hundreds of people so much money, and I want to see you get blessings because it's not just about saving money. People have gotten thousands of dollars in additional benefits because there is 5,600 plans nationwide when it comes to your Medicare, okay? You call Chapter, they can help you find the right Medicare coverage wherever you're at and make sure you're taken care of. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. Remember, the number is 667-895-3015. The number's in the description as well as the bottom of the screen. And I want to give some special love to those that have given because remember, on the 22nd of every month, we donate live on stream to a local charity with your support. And our giving is just growing and growing and growing. And we show you the receipts. We give to local charities. And we help out especially these kids that don't got anybody. These orphans. We help them out and we show them love through our support and giving. Show Mr. Norby some love in the chat, everybody. OG of the family. Thank you so much, Mr. Norby. Martin Gonzalez, thank you so much. Christina Smith, Lady T. Rucker, Patricia. Thank you so much. Our girl April Green, Bobby Williams, Skyrix Core, TJ Letsum, Hammer of Justice. Show him some love in the chat. Thank you so much, TJ, for your support. Our boy Richard with the gifted membership. Show him some love in the chat. Jess, thank you so much, Jess. Catherine Rex, Alice Lewis. Our boy Richard with the super chat. Deborah Webb. Show Deborah Webb some love in the chat. OG of the family, member of the family. And our girl Ava Bernard. Show Ava some love in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing our videos on X, on Facebook. Remember, the more that we show this, the more people see, the more that America's put first, because you see the receipts. You see what's actually happening. We care about America first, red, white, and blue, baby. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.